Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
The favorite should be 220-ish, and here, you could lay $1.65.
So getting a plus 315 price here for this one to go to overtime. I like it.
Their strength is their defense. I like the under.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. You can catch us 5 days a week at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We are live from Las Vegas at the South Point. It's a good day for us. Myself, Alex White, alongside Ryan McCormick, had a very good Monday. Probably the best Monday I can remember. Usually we tend to get better as the week goes on, but we started off hot. I think we were still on a nice little high from Team USA winning the gold medal. This men's team after the women's team already had done it last Thursday. So a lot going on here, but we're excited. We'll show you our whiteboards. But first, let's welcome in our guest as he is here every Tuesday, the voice of the Las Vegas Aviators, voice of the Rebels. I'm sure you've heard him on plenty of radio shows. Matt Neverett joining us right now, ready to step in.
Let's do it.
And keep the momentum going because you've been pretty on fire on our Tuesdays.
Oh, well, once you get to this point of the year, everyone's kind of locked in, especially you with your numbers very, very fine-tuned as we get towards the tournament. And I've said it on this show and others before, the money you make in March starts in January. So here we are almost in March. We're going to have a bracket in under 3 weeks.
I cannot wait. And we said it last year and it was not really true. It was pretty chalky in the tournament, but this year really does feel pretty wide open. We've seen a lot of upsets, and that kind of starts us off from last night. Ryan took both home dogs on the money line, so that was a very good payout for him. I jumped in. Chris Andrews also came on the show and said he was leaning towards Kansas at home. They don't lose back-to-back home games, right?
Really.
And Monday, we know Bill Self. And then I had two mid-majors get the job done for me. New Orleans with an outright win as a 12.5-point
Privateers.
underdog. But yeah, so we're looking forward to today. We're going to keep it going here. Ryan, how'd you feel about the games when you were watching? kind of no sweat for you.
Yeah, no real. Well, Carolina almost folded at the end, but yeah, two winners there on the money line. Also called the unders in those games. So if you took those, good on you. So read those games pretty nicely, but we'll see what we got for you guys today. But we did not have any massive underdogs win outright yesterday in the NBA or in college basketball. No, at least $3 underdogs to win outright. But NBA favorites yesterday went 1 and 2 straight up and against the spread. Totals were 2 and 1, 2 overs there, 1 under in the NBA. The only favorite to win and cover was the Rockets against the Jazz. They won 125-115 as 13-point home favorites there. So NBA favorites 1 and 2 straight up and against the spread. And then college basketball yesterday in 9 games, the 2 that were main card games, and then 7 on the extra board, 4 and 5 straight up, 3 and 6 against the spread, and totals 2 and 7. So a nice fun counting game if you want to do that. And then also to bring in Major League Baseball, as we have some spring training baseball games going on. Major League Baseball favorites yesterday did not do well. 4, 9, and 1 straight up. 8 run lines were covered, whether it was reverse or the true favorite. 5 of those were reversed, though. And totals were 5 and 9 there in Major League Baseball.
So just we talk about college basketball often, but just to talk about the other 2, 1, NBA, I think we need to dive in a little bit more with this kind of tankathon going on and maybe find some spots to bet against those teams. And then 2, spring training games. That's very interesting. Matt, what do you think about those games and people actually putting money on them?
It's, I've worked on a lot of spring training over the years, so I've got a unique opinion. I'm also going to have a unique opinion on the game tomorrow because we're talking NBA, talking spring training. In the next 24 hours, 28 hours or so, I will be at an NBA game and a Major League spring training game. UNLV heads to Grand Canyon, or to Phoenix rather, to play Grand Canyon tomorrow night. But I got the in for Sun Celtics tonight in Phoenix, and then I'll be going to Dodgers D-backs tomorrow out in Scottsdale before the UNLV Grand Canyon game at night. So I'll be, I'll have my fill of live events here. It's interesting. Spring training, I will say, massive grain of salt. Good on you if you're going to put your hard-earned American dollars on a spring training exhibition. I mean, we would try to find angles, and Florida back when I was there, betting was illegal, so we weren't betting these, but we would look and we would try to have an opinion. It would never go well. So I say the same thing with spring training stats. I think there's very, very few players where you can take a real good stock in a solid week or 2 of spring training,
right?
Versus a regular season if you're trying to bet your futures markets. And we'll talk about some home run title and strikeout leaders that we like here at South Point on the sheets. But for me, I'm never going to put $1 on a spring training game. Good on you. I'm never one to judge what other people do with their hard-earned income. But yeah, not for me. I'm not a spring training guy when it comes to wagering.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. So the Celtics are actually a 7-point favorite on the road that you'll get to watch tonight, and then tomorrow you are a fan of the Dodgers, have a connection there, get to watch the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Very cool.
Should be good, yeah. And we can talk a little bit more about this NBA game if you want later. Celtics coming in hot. The Suns coming in off of a loss against Portland. So 2 teams kind of going 2 different directions at this point of the year, even though the Suns right now are surging despite the recent lack of success.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll definitely hit on that one as well. Thank you, Ryan, for our trends. But you also brought up, we will talk about the MLB home run title and the strikeout leader. You gave out one last week. We've kind of circled back, and I think everybody agrees that is a very good number there. But we'll rehash that, and then we'll also add a few more for each of us that we've kind of been looking into.
I think we both have a couple that we're interested in.
Definitely. Okay, before we get into today's card with college basketball, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Olympic game on Sunday morning. It was, of course, 5 a.m. Pacific time, very early, but very cool what the men's hockey team was able to do. It's been 46 years since they won the gold, and now they swept both men's and women's.
And there's never been a U.S. men's national hockey team that's won an international competition without a player from a tiny little town in northern Minnesota called Warroad, Minnesota. And they had another one this year. First men's gold medal since the Miracle on Ice. It was intense. And for Nathan McKinnon, I'm sorry, man, that is going to be something that he thinks about, that open goal that he missed, and Hellebuck stopping him by the skin of his teeth. That's going to be something that haunts him for the rest of his career, especially someone who's been as heavily invested in the Canadian national team program as McKinnon has been. And this is a surge for U.S. hockey. The youth level is vastly improved in the country to where it was even 10 years ago. So I think this is the start of a run of dominance for the U.S. with the rest of the world outside of the U.S. and Canada kind of in flux as far as who's going to be that next best team in the international competitions.
It's very true, because Sweden was supposed to be the next and fell a little short there. So, but I do think hockey's in a good place. We had a ton of overtime games, including 2 that Canada had to get through to get to the gold medal game.
Do you like the 3-on-3 overtime in the Olympics?
Well, I could say yes now because US won, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I actually kind of do, because I think it actually benefits the better team. And I'm all about, if you're getting to that point, and then it just feels like every overtime game, the better team ended up winning in the 3-on-3.
Oh, in Canada,
except for the last one, it's debatable.
The Canadian players were
good.
complaining. You got McDavid, McKinnon, and McCarr. That's your 3 of the top 5 best in the world in that situation that you could select.
Well, the other funny thing is, USA killed a 5-on-3. You couldn't score with 5 against 3, and then you were saying that it needs to be 5-on-5.
So. And I like the 3-on-3 in overtime. It's I think the argument, to your point, is kind of similar to that of putting an extra runner, the placed runner on second base in extra innings in the Major League playoffs. I think of the Olympics, because it is a grind. It's a lot of games in a short span. I think get it over with. You don't need to go 5-on-5 for 2-3 overtimes. Get a goal, get it over with, move on. Gold medal game is different, but I don't think you can have a different set of rules for that one than the rest of the tournament. I'm a fan, but I also love open ice 3-on-3 hockey.
Ryan, what were you thinking?
Well, first with the 3-on-3, I would say in the gold medal match, I don't like it being 20 minutes of 3-on-3. I would rather it be 10 and then get an intermission, because that 20 minutes is a long time to just have 3-on-3. That's a lot of open ice. The guys are going to be getting gassed, and you're going to have more breakaways and such for the guys that do have fresher legs. So I would prefer it to be kind of a shorter period and then go back to intermission and kind of reset if it does stay tied at the end of that. But I mean, there is nothing better than that golden goal in hockey in overtime, and it being for the gold medal makes it even better. So, I mean, I loved everything about the moment. And I did want to go back to Matt's comment of Warlord, Minnesota. All 3 gold medal teams does feature someone from that small town. And that is also because all 3 are different generations of the same family. They're Brock Nelson's grandfather and great uncle were on that 1960 gold medal team. His uncle was on the Miracle on Ice team. They all had different last names, though. So Bill Christian and Roger Christian were his grandfather and great uncle on that 1960 team. And then Dave Christian was on that 1980 team, and Brock Nelson continues that. So that family tree has all 3 gold medals here for USA.
USA.
Very cool. I didn't know that. So you learn something every day.
I think the population of that town is about like 2,000. I think I saw. It's a tiny little place. There's more people at the South Point right now than are in Warroad, Minnesota.
So it makes sense that they were from that same.
There's a little caveat. Let me have my fun, Ryan.
I'm just helping. I'm just adding to the stat.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I need whatever help I can get.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and move to today's basketball slate. We've got a lot of college basketball games. We've got 38, 11 NBA. We'll definitely touch on the one that Matt is going to. Other than that, unless you have an angle and we're looking to fade teams that are trying to lose here to get a higher pick. But yeah, we've got a few games starred where we have plays on or just interest. If we don't talk about a game that you want to know about, please let us know, and we will at least give you some numbers. And Matt, you bring up a great point going through the games yesterday, comparing what I've been doing as of late and using my dad's numbers. It's getting tight. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of differences. I had put like 5 games out of the 38 that I felt strongly about. And then, I mean, a lot of it is situational though. And we've seen that really show up now towards the end of the season, right? Where they've been playing a lot of basketball. So, Ryan, will you go ahead and walk us through the list that we have?
Yeah, before I do, I will give you guys some more time to let us know in the comments if there are some other specific games that you were looking for, because in today's description of the video, our post on YouTube is talking about which teams in the Mountain West took a step back over the weekend, but will take a step forward here tomorrow night. 2 of those teams play against each other tomorrow night, and that'd be Utah State and San Diego State down in San Diego. And then the game that Matt will be at, UNLV at Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon did lose in their most recent matchup, so we're not necessarily looking for them to take a step forward in the Mountain West standings, but that is what we got for you guys in our post. And then our poll is talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 4 teams are in action today. So which game will have the highest score? Duke, number 1 Duke at Notre Dame, number 2 Arizona at Baylor, number 3 Michigan hosting Minnesota, or number 4 Iowa State at Utah there, and each with a different total there. But we did want your guys' thoughts there on those things. And now for Alex and Matt's thoughts on college basketball games today. We start with 603, 604, and that would be the number 21 team in the country, the only undefeated team remaining in the country, and that'd be Miami, Ohio, on the road at Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan is a home dog here in this one of 9.5, and the total is 153.5.
This one's interesting. I mean, you're wondering when the other shoe's going to drop, so to speak, for Miami. They really haven't had a lot of close scares in conference play. They're averaging like 93 points a game and shooting over 50. They're shooting 53% from the field as a team. This is an Eastern Michigan team that struggles on defense against this Miami team that's been pretty dominant all year long. It's one of those ones where I would never advise this, but you almost just want to bet against them and then double it up every time with only a handful of games left to go. Again, not advising that, but you're wondering when the shoe's going to drop. There has only been, 1 or 2 30-0 perfect regular seasons since they've expanded the schedule. I don't know if Miami, Ohio is going to be the team to do it. I don't know if tonight's the night that they fall for the first time, though.
I don't think so, Matt. I cannot co-sign on this one. I like this Miami, Ohio team, and I brought this up a couple weeks ago, kind of like the pressure's building on them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're playing with a lot of pressure right now. They look like they are in a good swing. And, I mean, Eastern Michigan, I don't know if this is the team to do it. They are on the road, though. They've got 4 left. I mean, they would probably – I think it's going to come down to the last 2, with Toledo being one of the better teams in the conference, and then Ohio. That would nice little rivalry there.
Really,
so,
the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause on this one that's already up to 9.5 and opened at 8.5, I could see this one very well getting over double digits by the time that it tips off here in about 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, or 3:30 Pacific time. So you definitely got some time, especially with that in mind. This one's going to swell with the public's money coming in. They're going to see that big fat 0 when they look at the record on their ESPN app and go, "Yep, I'm going to lay it with them." So this is going to get over 10. So if you are going to lay it with the Redhawks, take it soon. Listen to these last handful of games, though, for Miami, Ohio. Win at Bowling Green, 91-77. Over UMass, 81-77. Over Ohio, you said scared you, 90-74. They beat Marshall by the same score. Yeah. And then the scare against Buffalo, 73-71. It's their closest game in conference play. I think that gives me a little bit of a pause if this one were to get over 10 and close closer to 11. If you're laying it or if you're taking it with Eastern Michigan, rather, you're taking them to cover but not win, in my eyes.
yes, definitely. And that's a good point there. If you look at possessions, that was a lower possession game there against Buffalo. That is what Eastern Michigan wants to do. So maybe style of play wise, they can grind it out, keep it close, and if you're going to get double digits there. But
because Miami is crazy efficient, like I said, 55% from the field. They also have average almost 8 steals a game, which is a really high total. So when the possession numbers get really high, they get better just by the math. More efficient. They run a faster tempo in general, and they average a lot more steals per game. So if you limit the possessions, you kind of limit them in their opportunities to really show off where they excel the most. So if this line gets out of hand, maybe take it with Eastern Michigan. But it's that or bust for me, especially because this one's going to continue to climb.
Well, it's just tough from a power rating standpoint, because a team that keeps winning, you kind of keep increasing their power rating wise. So number wise, we do have it closer to 14 here. So that just, if you're wondering,
you're getting value for now.
But
where do you think this one closes?
I don't know.
9.5 now. It's already gone up a point. In my eyes, it's going to be over double digits in the next hour.
10
or so.
and a half,
at least. I'm saying 11. I think it's at least 11 by the time it tips off.
So I do think that we have reached a little bit of a buyback point. It did open 8.5 in the market, open 8.5 here. We're at 9.5 here, but there is a 10 in the market. That spot did have an 11.5, and then the South Point also did reach 10.5, and we've gotten back to this 9.5. So I think this spot right at 10 is where we're kind of seeing the buyback. I don't know if we'll end up getting back to the 11 unless we get some pretty heavy steam there.
That is a good point.
Zero,
that is a good point with the previous line movement there. That does matter. They're not going to keep toggling back and forth like that. Good point there. I got another mid-major game here.
I was just gonna say that it is a good coach on the other side that did come from coaching bigger schools with Stan Heath. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't get involved here.
It's scary because there's the emotional storyline of the undefeated season as well. If Miami had a 1 in the loss column, it might change the handicap a little bit for me.
Yeah, definitely.
God. Interesting. Nothing for me on that one. I do have a play on Dayton. Another of the top mid-major teams, the St. Louis Billikens, on the road in Dayton, Ohio tonight. And I'm going to take it with the home team. I think Dayton, in what's been a crazy home environment for them for years, is going to have what it takes. Anthony Grant, one of the best mid-major coaches in the country, in my eyes. St. Louis won the earlier matchup in this one, 102-71. That was in St. Louis. The Billikens have a great home court advantage as well. And that was earlier in conference play when they were as hot as any team in the country. They've since cooled down a bit and have had a scare or two since then. Still just 2 losses on the year. Dayton, in 15 home games this year, has won 12 of them. And their field goal percentage allowed at home is about 4 or 5 percentage points better than on the road, which at this point of the year, as you know, is a big spread, with the numbers kind of leveling out towards the end of conference play. A little bit of difference in pace of play here. The Billikens 13th in the country. They like to get out and run. Dayton 159th. That's about middle of the pack at a 365 total, so nothing really there one way or another, about an average pace. But I think Dayton, with the home court advantage against a St. Louis team that's cooling a bit, is going to have an advantage. If you're bold, think money line. I'm just going to take the 4 points with the Flyers here.
Cannot fault you there. I mean, I had St. Louis 2 games ago where they lost outright to Rhode Island. So you're right, they have been slipping up a little bit. And then if you watch that game last Friday, VCU really had them on the ropes.
They did.
And they had quite the comeback. So can they do that 2 weeks in a row in a very hostile environment? I'm not sure. Number-wise, it's kind of the same thing, though. A lot higher here on St. Louis, closer to 7.5. But just it's a power rating when they keep on winning, and you're kind of adjusting game by game. So nothing for me in that one, but not going in front of these mid-major darlings right now. But I can't fault you for taking the points.
All right, we'll skip over the number 1 team in the country. If you want Alex's thoughts on that one, let us know in the chat, and we'll get you the numbers, the White family numbers there on that one. But we're going to Marquette on the road at Georgetown, where Georgetown is a 3.5-point home favorite, and the total is 150.5.
I love this one. I'm taking the points here with Marquette. And if you've been listening to me at all, I'm a big fan of Georgetown and Ed Cooley, but that is typically as an underdog. I don't really feel comfortable laying points with them at home. I do think Shaka Smart has his team playing better, and Marquette did lose at home to this team earlier this year, 78-69. So you're getting 3.5 here. I think it should be closer to 1 with Georgetown, maybe even a pick 'em. So I like the 3.5 here.
You hear a lot about coaching experience in the tournament when you get there. I think there is something to be said, and it's not really brought up or talked about as often as you would think, is coaching experience this time of year. Because there's like a difference in conference tournament, NCAA tournament, but the last couple of games of the regular season can swing the entirety of your campaign and also put you into a tournament. Now, whether or not it's the NCAA tournament or otherwise, for some teams makes a difference, some teams it doesn't. Any postseason play is good. Any program, any school will tell you that. You're making a postseason games, you're getting paid, you're getting more national brand exposure on TV for your school. So these teams are fighting for tournaments, for NIT, CBI, the Crown, what have you, all the options that exist nowadays outside of the big dance. But for these teams playing at the end of the year, Shaka Smart has experience at multiple programs in terms of swelling at the right time, getting momentum into your conference tournament, which leads into momentum in the NCAA tournament. So I like that in this coaching matchup between Smart and Cooley, and I like Marquette on the road.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. I'm usually looking for kind of how the tournaments are set up. Okay, do the first 4 teams get a double bye, and then 5 through 9 get a bye? So they're trying to get in those positions. But you bring up a good point for a program like Marquette. I mean, they're just trying to make a push here to even get an invite to any of the tournaments.
That is actually a really good point, too, about the conference tournaments, because the seeding matters.
Yes.
The only one that I've got experience with really is the Mountain West. I help with the Big West, too, but they have their top 8 teams make it. So the bottom ones just get eliminated. But in the Mountain West, they do have that first 4 teams bye into the second day, and that makes a difference. You got to win 3 games in 4 days with a day of rest advantage versus 4 in 4 days against a team that has that advantage against you. So that is actually a very bettable angle, something that I hadn't even really considered to think about at this point.
Mountain West switched it, right? It used to be 1 through 5.
Yeah, it's 1 through 4 now.
I did see that. I told you I'm trying to go through each conference.
And then we'll see what they
do.
do next year when they lose
Yes.
addition by subtraction, or so to speak, when it comes to the conference shuffling. We'll see.
We'll keep it going here. No, it wasn't the ACC. The Americans switched. We might have to double check this, but they look like they're going more towards the West Coast.
What, giving their best team a bye to the semis?
Yes.
Giving
Yes.
Gonzaga a bye to the NCAA tournament every year?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. So I'll have both of you too. I'll show you the brackets and the everything that I found.
Well,
from
some of the
yesterday,
layouts
but-
are just preposterous. The ones with like 20 teams.
Yeah.
The Big 10, aka the Big 20.
Yeah.
Some of the brackets are just ridiculous looking.
But for now, we'll keep it with the ACC. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, team that we know that you like backing is a road underdog here at the number 11 team in the country, Virginia. So NC State, the Wolfpack, is on the road at Virginia. Virginia is a 6.5-point home favorite and a total of 150. Are you going back to the pack here?
I'm going back
Back to the pack.
and I looked and it was a Monday where they completely let me down. But last Tuesday, they had a big upset over North Carolina. Typically, that would be a spot where you don't want to back a team because they'd have a letdown with the next game. But it's been a full week. I think NC State can keep this game close. We do have home revenge. And Virginia, while they are very good, I do think they're a little fraudulent. So Virginia won the first matchup in Raleigh, 76-61. Now NC State gets to go there and kind of return the favor. Virginia has Duke up next as well. So it might be a little bit of a look ahead. And NC State 10-4 in conference play. So right now they are tied with Miami for the 3. They're going to try and stay right there, if not catch Virginia, who is the 2 seed right now.
And it matters in that state where you finish among the teams in North Carolina. And for NC State over the last couple of years, they've started to build a program under Will Wade. He's been outstanding, and the fruits of his labor are starting to come to the forefront in a pretty muddled ACC overall. I mean, you got Duke as the front runners, I think deservedly so. I kind of didn't even realize Virginia was 24-3 overall. Like, they're really good. They're not necessarily the national powerhouse with that distinct style of play that we're used to.
Right.
But man, it's tough. I mean, it is really the top 5-6 teams in the ACC, and then everybody else. You got your SMUs and your Louisvilles outside looking in on that top group,
Yeah.
but. I mean, like, give me Duke, little separation than everybody else, but it's not much outside of that. And I'm underrating Virginia vastly in that estimate.
Well, in those 5 or 6 teams that you're mentioning, I mean, I think we're starting to see them play their best basketball. I had kind of crossed out the ACC thinking maybe Duke would trip up. And if you're
Yeah.
looking at the prop that we have at the South Point,
Was
that
just grabbing it on the sheet.
wasn't even really a thought in my mind. But now, the last couple of weeks, I've been very impressed with those teams. And there's always 1 or 2 from the ACC that makes a good little run. I mean, I think it was Clemson last year that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
and NC State the year before. I mean, and
Yes.
I love this. I love this prop. But generally, year to year, as we get to this part of the schedule, and there really hasn't been any movement since these lines opened. Big 12 there at 7-5. ACC at 4-1 is tempting. I don't know if you could tempt me with a field bet. I think it's going to be. There's no way in my eyes it's not a team from the Big 4. ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. I just don't see a Big East or a West Coast team making a run. I don't. Especially at 30-1, I would need a bigger price on any other conference outside of those 4, because in my eyes, it's going to be one of the Big 4.
did you include Big East?
I did not.
I think I'd rather have the Big East than the SEC.
At 9-1?
Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
I don't know. Florida's really good though, so
That's the thing is,
you get. I mean, those 2 for each. I guess. That's
and it
why I
was a
just
super
take the better
chalky
number.
tournament last year, like you mentioned, too, so that gives you a little bit of pause there. That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we talk about teams surging at the right time, and one of the teams that I want to bring up in the Big 12 right now is the best odds to win it. Big 12 matchup tonight in Lubbock between Cincinnati and number 19 or 18, Texas Tech. 16. Man, I'm underrating the Red Raiders too. Number 16, Texas Tech. You got Cincinnati, who's one of the hottest teams, if not the single hottest team in the country. Winners of 4 straight, including that big road win at Lawrence, that blowout of Kansas, which was very, very unexpected to most, but really not internally in that program. You got Cincinnati catching 6.5 on the road. You scared to go with the Bearcats again?
I would only be playing the Bearcats here in this one, taking the 6.5. Texas Tech looked really good in their last game. It was the first game without Toppin, which is always kind of a little bit of bump, right? Everybody else steps up. They beat Kansas State 100-72. Can they do that 2 games in a row? I don't know. That kind of worries me, and I haven't made a move on either side yet. Numbers say Texas Tech is the right side here at home, but situational spot, I'm leaning to the Bearcats.
What would the line be in your eyes if JT Toppin were in this game?
Well, let me tell you, because I have the sheet I
You got
was
'em
using
adjusted?
yesterday, and I have an actual
I would go 11.
4 points. So
Oh, he's worth
my
4?
dad has him worth 4 points
10.5.
from him to his backup who's stepping in.
That's a big difference, and I think for Cincinnati with that front court combo, they got the 7'2" sophomore, and then the 6'11" 4. He plays the 5 sometimes, but you got those two. You got your outside shooting charge led by my man Jizzle James. I don't know. I think Cincinnati's going to have an advantage on the inside just with some of the physical mismatches that they're going to present without Toppin and that athleticism on both ends of the floor. I'm going to stay away from this one. It's always tough to go with a team like off of a big win like that last one for Cincinnati, but I'm with you as far as the handicap goes.
Ryan, any thoughts on this one?
Well, I was more so curious on yours about the look ahead, not just the letdown for Cincinnati, but the look ahead possibly for Texas Tech, who would be at Iowa State on Saturday.
The look ahead spot's real. I mean, that's a real thing. I think that's where coaching comes to the forefront, especially at this time of year with the limited schedule. It's one thing to say to a group of 18 to 26-year-olds now that we're letting them play for 8 years. It's one thing to look at a group of young guys and say, hey, we got 25 games left. Let's put our best foot forward tomorrow. It's another to say, hey, we got 2-3 games left in the regular season, and these next 10 days are going to determine for some of you the rest of your lives. I mean, there's a way that you can frame it as a coach to make it as desperate as you sometimes need it to be at this point of the schedule.
Well, and the other thing is, Matt, you said it perfect. I mean, this is a Cincinnati team that's not catching anybody off surprise.
Yeah.
They're going to say they just beat Kansas. Actually, that was the biggest margin for a defeat of Kansas at home, right?
Ever.
So I think that helps with that look-ahead spot. Got to take care of business here tonight. With the Cincinnati has home revenge, but it is from last season. So whatever you like to do with that, some people kind of like to just ignore that season. But 81-71, Texas Tech got the win there. So adding that in, I'm just seeing my dad's numbers from today. 4.5 is what he has. So that is a lean there to take in the points.
I mean, in my eyes, it's a shorthanded Texas Tech team. It's 3-point or bust. I mean, if you're going to go with Cincinnati, the only way I think you get burned is if Texas Tech has a stellar shooting night from beyond the arc.
Yeah. So I think, are we all on board kind of leaning that way?
I'm definitely leaning. Yeah, I likely won't play it just because of the storyline, like I mentioned, but that's just, I think, a smart handicap.
Very good.
We can lean in and press the stamp, I guess. We'll go to another game in the Big 12 here. West Virginia, where the total just moved up to a 142.5 on the road at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 1.5-point home favorite.
Love this one. Love under in this one. You said it just went up to 142.5?
2.5, yep.
I was looking 141.5. I haven't taken any of these numbers yet. I was going to wait till we get off the air. I'm glad I did in this one. And I like West Virginia on the money line as well. This was a West Virginia team off of back-to-back losses in a get-right spot on the road against an Oklahoma State team that is completely going downhill. Now, they had that upset win against BYU at home, what was that, almost 3 weeks ago? And then they've lost 5 straight since then. So they've gone off of a cliff since that big emotional high of the win. The Mountaineers have a big rebounding advantage in this game, and the Cowboys at home, get this, allowing 81-plus points per game at home this year. And normally teams are much better in terms of points per game allowed at home. You got that advantage. You're going to have the free throw advantage in terms of the crowd support and the home court advantage at the very least. The thing in this one is Oklahoma State, 10th in the country in adjusted tempo. West Virginia runs the fourth slowest tempo in the country, 362 overall. But despite the pace, listen to this. And I like West Virginia. I love the under. Cowboys have gone under in their last 2, 4 of their last 5. And 7 of their last 9. The Mountaineers under in 10 of their last 11. And what's more, WVU has scored less than 60 points in 6 of their last 8 games. West Virginia winners 69-50 earlier this year in Morgantown. I think we see a similar score in this one. Give me the under. I'll take it at 142.5 because I haven't been on it yet. And I'm going to go West Virginia on the money line. Do a parlay if you want. I'm going to take them both straight.
I love the under as well. Had it at 141.5 with you. I mean, number wise, our power ratings are 131.5. You brought up great points about West Virginia, their pace of play, and their strength is their defense. 21st Ken Palm defense efficiency, and there's no travel spot for them. So a lot of times, whether going to Morgantown or leaving there, right, it's a bad travel spot. But coming off a loss to TCU, so stayed over in this area. And then that was a low-scoring game, 60-54. So I like the under here.
And the numbers tell me this. The Oklahoma State is one of the fastest tempos in the country, but they've been an under team, especially as of late. That tells me that the efficiency is bad. If West Virginia can slow this one down like they normally do and really just limit the number of possessions, the math is going to work out in their favor. So I just like the Mountaineers. I think the Cowboys rather not efficient enough, not physical enough inside, and they don't have enough of a rebounding advantage to be a 1.5 point favorite in this game.
Pretty crazy, right? 15-12 on the year to the under for Oklahoma State, a team that likes to push the pace. On the other side, West Virginia 19-8 to the under, but you most recent, what'd you say?
Under in 10 of their last 11, and they've scored 60 or less points. Less than 60 in 6 of their last 8.
Jeez.
And that includes that 60 they scored the other day.
All right, that's an under for both of us. I know we both have an under coming up here as well.
Off the board, baby.
Ryan, anything else to add to West Virginia and Oklahoma State there?
Not that one. We'll go over to the Sun Belt, where Marshall is hosting Old Dominion. The Herd are a 6.5 point home favorite, and the total is 159.5.
So now we went with a nice under trend. I like this over here.
Ooh, that's a big
Kenny
number.
White actually has taken the points with Old Dominion that has been struggling in conference play, but both teams are 17-11 to the over. The first game was pretty much right there on this number where Marshall won 81-79. We're asking a lot of Old Dominion to do that again and to keep up in this one, but two of the faster teams in the Sun Belt, so the pace is going to be there. Just got to get their shots, but the fact that my dad's taken the points with Old Dominion makes me think that they're going to keep it close. He actually has Marshall with the revenge factor added in 1.5. So take that.
How does that
How you
scale?
want it?
Is that a lot of points for a revenge
No, so
adjustment?
It's a flat 2.5.
Okay.
We do for the road team.
So 1.5 is less than normal.
I'm saying Marshall he made them 1.5.
Oh, on the number. I
On
thought
the
you meant on the
number.
adjustment.
So that's
Good
a
Lord.
5.5 point difference.
So
there.
by that system, that's a great play. It worries me because I'm on the other side. I like Marshall.
You're like Marshall.
I
You're
do
laying
like
the
Marshall.
7.
I'm going to lay the 7. It was 6.5 when I looked. I still like it at 7 because of the handicap. Marshall needs to make up ground because of the way that the Sun Belt tournament is laid out in the buys. So they need to make up ground. They need to win some games in a convincing fashion as well to get some momentum into the tournament. They have won 10 of their last 11 home games against conference opponents. I think that's definitely something you can take a look at. And Marshall shooting 37% from beyond the arc. That is the best mark in the Sun Belt. I think if they can have an okay shooting night, they'll be able to run away from this Old Dominion team late. Look for free throws to come into play if it's anything close.
Well, I'm glad I'm staying off of the dog. I'm going with the over. I just need points from both sides here, but you're right. Marshall, the best offense in this conference, so I'm going to need to rely on them a lot here. All right, keeping it moving.
Not necessarily forward. I did want to go back. Attila did point out that the West Virginia total did go to 143.5.
Oh, my goodness. Keep going, baby.
Kind of
Yeah.
wanted to point out that one opened 141.5, moved to 140.5 at 10:17 Pacific this morning, and has moved up to 143, steady 141, 142.5, 143.5 in the last 10 minutes. So kind of a don't blink if you're going off those overs. But I guess a wait and see where we get the point of buyback if you like that under there with us.
I'm not going to wait. I'm on the app right now. Not even joking.
Not gonna wait.
I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
I wanted to check. So Ken Palm has it 143. Typically,
I'm in.
that can cause these
Steer
numbers to
things.
move and kind of influence the market here. But that's not that big of a difference.
143.5. I'm in, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good.
I didn't want to wait anymore. There is going to be a buyback. It is coming. Games don't have that much steam that early without a buyback for sure.
Okay. Going to the number 3 team in the country hosting Minnesota. That would be Michigan hosting Minnesota here. Michigan, where'd this one sneak off to? 149. There it is.
650.
Michigan is a 22-point home favorite, and the total is 145.
Now that scares the hell out of me, but not out of you, Ryan, right?
Yeah, we looked at it this morning, and I looked at the Michigan's true home games. So they've played 13 of them in their home arena this year. They've won by an average of 27.5 points. So going against a team kind of the bottom of this Big Ten conference, I mean, it's a very big number, but they've been pretty comfortable or beaten teams that badly at home this year.
And you're more clued into the bottom teams, Alex, in the Big Ten. I got nothing on this Minnesota team. It's just been a tough handicap all year, and Michigan as well because of how dominant they are. I mean, those players era games might as well have been home matchups here in Vegas. For my money, Michigan I think is the best team in the country, top to bottom. It's tough to go against them. This is just a massive number.
It would only be Michigan for me, if anything, coming off of that loss. We only have one other data point from the year since they only have one loss. And then after they lost to Wisconsin, they were on the road. So I think Ryan brings up a great point. Them actually going back home, they'll be ready to play for this one for sure. And I'm with you. That's why that prop bet, I took Big Ten at plus 170 because I wanted to have a piece of Michigan. I thought, why not have those other teams as well? Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State,
like
even.
That. I mean, if you were to hand me $100 to bet on this prop right now, I'd probably go 50 on the Big Ten and 50 ACC, and just hope that you don't get burned with the Big 12.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Looking at the numbers, ACC at 4-1, you get a little bit of value there in the Big Ten. I like that spread of teams that you just mentioned.
And we're seeing it now with the Big 12, where we had them as the top and the sports book as well, but they're kind of beating each other up now.
Yep.
We just saw it. I mean, Houston's lost 3 in a row. I can't believe it.
I didn't think I'd see the day.
No. No, it's been a long time since then. But yeah, Brian, I'm with you. It'd only be Michigan. I think 22 is the correct number. But I mean, if you're going to add in a little bit for get right spot here, I think if there's a team that could do it and could run up the score, it is this Michigan Wolverines team.
All right, we'll go to the number 4 team in the country, going to that Big 12, where Iowa State is on the road at Utah. Utah is another one of these teams that's at the bottom of that their conference, Big 12. They're talking specifically. So Iowa State is a 13.5-point road favorite, and the total is 142. It does look like there's a 143.5 in the market.
And that's been dropping pretty precipitously, right?
Yeah, I got 145 last night. So this one's actually going with me instead of against me, like our West Virginia. But 139 is my number. So if you can get 143, I think there's still some good value. But I do like a 5-point difference. The whole handicap really here is Iowa State coming off of that upset loss against BYU. It was a bad spot for them, but Iowa State is defense first, and I think that you're going to see a great performance like we did kind of in that Saturday game against Kansas. So if anything, I think they're really going to shut down Utah. Maybe we want to look for a Utah team total under. But they don't have to travel either, so back-to-back road games for them. I think Teacher Altenberger will have his team ready, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, they're an under team, well-coached under team as well. That matters. And to get right spot, to get back after a loss, I think that, that is the right handicap. Because for a team like that, for a team like Michigan, let's just say they were coming off of a loss, or Kansas, that was a perfect example last night. Coming off of a loss, you knew they were going to explode offensively because that's that team's identity. It's the exact opposite here for Iowa State, where they're coming off of a loss. The team's identity is defense. They are going to put the clamps on Utah. I like that angle of a Utah team total under. And this is another one where if you're going to go under, I'd get it soon. Yeah. I could see it getting closer to 140 as it tips.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's a 143.5, we definitely want to get the best of the number 2.
This next one is one that I was curious, talking about the number 2 team in the country on the road here, Arizona at Baylor. Arizona 8-point road favorite, total 154.5, but they are looking at Iowa State or Kansas, then Iowa State next. So is this kind of a letdown look ahead, and is Baylor capable of doing that? What do you think, Alex?
I like the points here with Baylor. Number wise, it's right there. So our power rating is 8 and 149.5. But I think you have a good handicap there because now we know that Arizona, they are human, right? They lost 2 in a row. So think teams can kind of adjust. Baylor has the talent, right, Matt? They just haven't been able to put it together. Not a very strong defensive team. But yeah, I think it's, if anything, I would be taking the points here with the Bears.
Yeah, Scott Drew is a good coach. They are a well-coached team. The big thing for me is keep an eye on the status and the availability of the freshman Koa Pete down low. If he's able to go, I think that Arizona is able to run away as this line has gone down. I think that tells you that the common thought is that he's not going to go because this one was at 10 at one point. If he does go, it just moved up to 8. Watch it move up to 8. I feel honored. You don't get to do that very often. Watched it adjust a half point live on air there. So there's a little bit of a buyback. 7.5 was that spot. Again, if Koa Pete plays, I think Arizona is able to run away from a Baylor team on the road. And it is another one. This is a team coming off of losses. They have an identity that is the offense, that is domination down low. I think we see a ton of points in the paint. And I think this is another one where free throws could get you at the end if you're on one side or the other.
If anything, maybe it's a Baylor first half.
Yeah, I like that, actually.
Keep it at 4.5.
Especially if Pete doesn't go.
Yeah.
I like that even better, obviously.
Keep it close, but then Arizona might run away with it second half.
Questionable is the official designation right now for Pete. So keep an eye. What time does this one tip off? We still got some time. This one's at 6 o'clock Pacific on ESPN The Deuce. So, yeah, keep an eye on that one. I would bet Arizona, but I would wait. It depends. Because the second he's announced back, he's worth at least 3 or 4 points. Maybe. 2.5, 3.
I probably have the number.
Yeah, if only there was someone who tracked this stuff and did it every day. If only I was able to do a show with her.
1.5.
So, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2.
So stay tuned to your social media. That's where I'd look for some of my. Go find your local beat reporter. We're bringing the beat reporter back. We need it.
No, really. That is where you should. You should have a tweet deck with all of your college basketball reporters.
Yep.
Just following through.
Yep.
Ryan, I should have known that this would be a request. So shame on me. I didn't prep this one.
Before we get to the Battle of Los Angeles, we did have Dean Hill requesting Tennessee on the road at Missouri. Tennessee, a 3-point road favorite, and a total of 144.5. That rotation number is 667, 668.
I'm still mad I liked Tennessee against Vandy on Saturday, and I didn't get involved because that Vanderbilt gym, the more games I watch there, is freaking me out, and I don't want to bet anybody going there. But so that kind of throws me off here. I think Tennessee's the right side, but how much of a letdown do we have for that, you think?
Now, Dean, you didn't need to request this one because I'm on the Volunteers.
Okay, there we go. Matt's got it.
I'm going to lay the points. I might think about taking the money line, but I'll probably lay the points with Tennessee. This one opened at 4.5 as well, so you're getting a little bit of a better number. Volunteers coming in hot, winners of 8 of the last 9, 13 of their last 17. And going back for some historical context, get this. This team, over the last 3 seasons, has the most efficient defense in the SEC in terms of points per possession allowed. Now, that's something with the stable coaching staff that you're able to kind of bank on year after year. They've been a very efficient defensive team. They've also got a major rebounding advantage against this Mizzou roster. Missouri, over that same 3-season stretch, has allowed the single highest 3-point percentage against in the SEC. So if Tennessee has a moderate to above average night from the 3-point arc, I think they could run away in this game on the road. I really like Tennessee as they play for position in the SEC tournament as well as of this second, a top 4 seed, but that is a situation that could change with Texas A&M right there, a game back in conference play. So I like the Volunteers trying to create some separation and stay among that top group of Alabama, Arkansas, and Florida in the SEC. So, Dean, no need to request it. I'm going to lay the points on this one.
I don't hate it. And, wow, I didn't realize that they are right there now, tied for second with Arkansas and Alabama. Tennessee, they are just
and I'll tell you what,
peaking at the right time.
I mentioned Michigan at the Players Era tournament. I got a chance to see them in that, what was it, a 40-point win over San Diego State. They kicked the absolute crap out of the Aztecs. The other team that I was really, really impressed by that I got to see in that early season was Tennessee. I really liked how big, physical, and fast. They get out in transition so quick. And I know that's a hallmark of the SEC. I got to see it firsthand when UNLV played and got crushed by Alabama. But, yeah, Tennessee, I think, is an underrated team nationally, despite the fact that they're already a 20-win team. And I liked them in this spot tonight on the road.
It's just so crazy. Rick Barnes just is one of the best. Does it
Steady
year
Eddie.
in, year out, 2 back-to-back years of making it to the Elite 8. And then you think this is a down year for them, and here they come. It might be the year they make the biggest run, right? And have the least names, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, Nate Amen's going to be a top 5, if not top 7 pick. But other than that, it is a pretty evenly distributed scoring attack and pretty even as far as the offensive credit.
Very good. All right. So Matt does like Tennessee in that one.
Yep.
Just power rating numbers are 6. So agrees with Matt there, 142.5. This next one.
Going to USC against UCLA. UCLA is 15-1 as the technical home team so far this year, but they are a 7.5-point home favorite, and the total is 150.5.
Jeez, going against me again, but give me the dog here. USC burned me over the weekend. Matt, I tried to back 2 coaches that I really like with USC, and I say that lightly, that I really respect.
I like Musselman.
Okay, Musselman, but he's a little crazy. And
He
I don't
wears
know
minor
what's
league baseball
happening.
gear at all of his practices, so he's cool with me.
He's cool. Okay. And then SDSU, both of them coming off a loss, both of them lose on Saturday. I'm going right back to it here with USC. UCLA coming off a very emotional big win over Illinois. Think that McCronen's teams might let down a little bit here, and he'll be pissed off once again. So I'm taking USC, taking the points. There is home revenge. We know that this is a rivalry between these two. It is from last year, but UCLA won 82-76. So I might sprinkle a little on the money line. I actually think that the Trojans could get this win.
I think so. I mean, I went on I'm trying to contain my thoughts about Mick Cronin because I went off on him last week and was vindicated because about 12 hours later he ejected his own player and yelled at a reporter. But I digress. Then they came back and won that overtime game that they had no business winning against Illinois. So, like, what the hell is this UCLA team? I don't know. I don't know. My thoughts about Mick Cronin have not changed. In fact, they've been emboldened in the last week by his actions. It's a coach I really like versus a coach I hate. So for that alone, I'm gonna lean with you on that.
Okay, I'll take the 7.5. I wrote down 6.5, but I'll gladly take one more point. And Ryan, I think Matt added one more game.
You're
It was,
darn tootin' I did.
It was added. It's a write-in game, so it's technically on the extra board. We're going to New Haven, where St. Francis is on the road, and they're catching 7 as an underdog there, and the total is 141, Matt.
Can you tell me what state New Haven is in, Ryan?
It's definitely in the Northeast.
It is in the Northeast, but there's a lot of states up there in case you weren't aware. Nope, not New Hampshire. Good guess, Drew. Even Connecticut.
Yeah, I was going to say
Connecticut. I'm going to go. St. Francis is from Pennsylvania because they always advertise it. It's on the. I was trying to see if I could get you on that one, but I'm not laying aside. I'm going to go with the under, and this is one that opened 142.5. I like it at under 141. Last time these two faced off, it was an 81-69 win for New Haven. They scored 81 points on the road. I don't think that New Haven is able to do that again in this one. They shot 10 of 20 from beyond the three-point arc in that game. A ridiculous total, while the Red Flash shot 7 out of 21, respectable as well. Game finished with only 65 total possessions, which is extremely low in that game. And the three-point shooting is what got them to that total, which wasn't over in that game. But if all else remains equal, I think you see a significant shooting regression in this game. You're not going to shoot 10 out of 20 again if you're New Haven in this game. So I think it stays under 142. I think it stays under pretty comfortably against these two teams that limit the number of possessions. Look, you do the math. Even if you go 70 possessions, both teams averaging 1.1 points per possession, which would be better than they were in that last game, that's still under 142. So I think it goes under. I think it goes under comfortably in this matchup. I think this total opened a bit too high.
I do like to look at that with the first matchup and kind of a regression to the mean.
Well, like three-point shooting is absolutely something that you can go with on a regression. If it's not a team that does it often, 10 out of 20 is a ridiculous total in terms of efficiency. If a mid-major team makes 10 three-pointers in a game, that's a lot.
Yes.
With the way that a lot of them like to run their offense, especially these low majors like New Haven and St. Francis. So, like I said, I think this one's comfortably under. Maybe not my favorite play of the day, but definitely one that I feel very strongly about.
There is one more I just want to throw out, and I didn't put it on the sheet because I don't like to put you on the spot here, but we do have the bottom two of the Mountain West going head-to-head, and I believe Air Force is San Jose State's only win. I know there's something going on with Air Force.
has not won a conference game yet.
And Joe Scott is not going to be there.
Joe Scott, Audi 5000.
On the sideline. So, I mean, if anything, I'd like San Jose State -6.5 on the road.
San Jose State's got some talent. They have some players. Tim Miles is an outstanding veteran coach that's as well respected as any in the mid-major level in all of college basketball. He's got over 300 wins now in his career, but they've just been beleaguered by injuries. They've just been decimated all year long, and they're starting to get a little bit healthier. It's so tough to recruit to that athletic department as well because they just don't care about basketball. It's a very, very small arena up there. They fill it with a couple hundred fans a game. It's not a good environment. Clune Arena, where I just was in Colorado Springs, where Air Force plays, is a tiny little barn, 5,500, but it's got a good atmosphere when they really fill it up. Now, they haven't had much to cheer about this year, but they're going to get some cadets out there. It's going to be an okay environment. San Jose State is absolutely 7 points better than them.
Yeah.
They've got talent. They've got some really physical, downhill, dominant players. Air Force just does not have the size to keep up. They run the very slow pace. They run the Princeton offense. If San Jose State gets a lead, they're not going to give it up in this game.
I think they are about 12 points better, but then you add in a little bit there for home court, but still just 6.5. Matt, to your point, looking at the injury column here, my dad has 6 guys listed. Now, there's some that are back in, but still have their how much they're worth to the spread.
Yeah, and Air Force just
two of them back in. 4 of them still out though. So
Air Force just doesn't have the
tough.
bigs. In my eyes, it's a difference of the bigs. They just don't have the size or the physicality down low to compete.
I don't think I'm going to make an official play, but it definitely caught my eye there, thinking that they should be closer to 10, so double digits there on the road against
And
Air Force.
it's so tough, and I'm not going to get up on a big soapbox about this, but for service academies especially, but Air Force, just because I've got personal experience with them, it is becoming harder and harder for them to keep up in terms of basketball in the NIL era. They don't do NIL in the service academies. Your and my taxes are paying for it as they should. We appreciate everything that these young men and women do to serve our country, but they now have a rule where you're allowed to transfer out after 2 years. That's making it harder to keep any talent they get in. Air Force on the basketball team has 0 seniors on the roster, and 65% of their scoring in conference play comes from true freshmen. It is becoming harder and harder for the service academies to keep up on the hardwood. They'll be fine on the gridiron because of the toughness and the system with the option that they all run. So it's a little bit different in football. But basketball, I mean, Air Force is going to have to do something because they are just getting left in the dust. And it's unfortunate because when they're good, it's a really fun Mountain West on the hardwood. It's a tough atmosphere to go up and play in when it's really rocking up there.
Man, but you say they're gonna have to do something. It's like, what can
I don't
do?
know what.
Right? Yeah.
It is so hard because they're now in the new look Mountain West next year. Gonna still have a lot of the same challenges.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Well, Ryan, is there any other games that we want to touch on, or do we want to turn it over to a little baseball before we get out of here today?
Well, we did not get any more requests from the chat, so I was thinking about transferring over to baseball and getting it started with a mention of some spring training things as the Mets score 4 on the Astros in the first inning. Former Las Vegas Aviator Jason Alexander gives up 2 homers to Mike Tauchman and Ronnie Mauriciano, and the Mets put up 4 in the first inning there. As we have 5 games currently underway in Major League Baseball spring training. But we did want to talk about the home run leader odds and strikeout leaders for the 2026 season that are available here at the South Point Hotel and Casino, as I think Matt has spotted some good value for you guys.
Yeah, and how dare you not bring up the top prospect in all of baseball, Connor Griffin, with a home run on a hanging curveball for the Pirates. I see your NL Central bias with the Cubs, Ryan. I see what you're doing, Connor Griffin.
I didn't even mention a Central team. I mentioned a former NL
It's a team you
Central
didn't
team
mention
with the
that
Astros.
says all. What you didn't say says all I need to hear, Ryan.
Okay.
That's what it tells me. But we wanted to take a look at these MLB home run title and strikeout leader props here at South Point. Love that they do these, and love the discussion that goes on around these, because there's some historical context you can take into play when it comes to, in my eyes, how to bet these is you're basically picking a number, whether it's 50 or 60 home runs, whether it's 200 something strikeouts, and you're saying, okay, who do I think is going to reach this number throughout the year? You pick a higher total. You eliminate everybody, you're typically going to be left with about 3 or 4 guys in your eyes in these spots. The field is an interesting discussion as well. You and I have been talking about the field bets for both of these teams, or for both of these bets. 3-1 does not feel like a high enough number to lay any kind of value. There's one that I like more than the other in terms of the field bets, but 3-1 for whatever reason to me just does not feel like good enough value.
No, I really wish we were getting a little bit more there. It is pretty wild when I was really diving into this and kind of just, starting with the last couple years in the stats, only like 28 guys hit over 30 home runs. Does that sound right? Last year?
I mean, it's
So
many?
you 30 even.
That sounds low with everybody, however many home run hitters there are. Like,
So you threw out the number 50 or 60, and that's a tough.
I think we're seeing more guys that are going to get to 50 now than in any year in the past. That's not the peak of the steroid era.
Ryan's checking
Like, I think
us right now. But
in terms of the top of the board, I think Judge, Ohtani, Schwarber, and one or two other guys is going to get to 50 home runs. I think this is going to be the year we get a bunch of 50 home run hitters. I'm pulling up the numbers from last year.
Let's do it.
Because I think that
Juan Soto's actually interesting to me.
and he's made it
this year
public
at
that he
14
wants.
to 1.
He's like, I want the MVP. Yeah, so does everybody. But I just, I don't know. There's some of these ones that stand out to me. I think Schwarber at 8-1 is one that's obviously going to stand out with some value. It's tough to go against anybody not named Judge or Ohtani. Schwarber 56 home runs last year, and again, looking at if you include Eugenio Suarez, who had 49 home runs while playing for Seattle most of the year last year. You got 5 guys that got to 50, 49 last year. It was Raleigh, Schwarber, Ohtani, Judge, Suarez, Junior Caminero right behind him with 45.
Yep.
And Ryan and I have talked about it. I think Caminero is due for a huge regression, not playing his home games at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. There's a huge hitters-friendly environment there, even with it being in the humid Florida air. They're going back indoors this year. I think he does have a big regression, so I don't think we see Caminero at the top of the list. I think Pete Alonso is a name that stands out to me at 14-1. New team, invigorated, young, energetic team.
Yep.
With left field moved back in at Camden Yards. They moved it back. They brought it back in. Side note, they've got now what looks like just an unbelievably massive video board in right center. But for Pete Alonso as a righty, in that environment, in a very offense-friendly AL East, we'll say,
Yeah.
I think that 14-1 stands out to me for Pete Alonso as far as those guys near the top of the board, 20-1 or under.
I have him circled right here, Pete Alonso. I
same.
agree with that. Going farther down the list,
Yep.
I think that number feels a little short for Brent Rooker. But looking back 2 years ago, he was at the top of the board there.
Yeah.
Wait, is that right?
What?
Was it 2024?
24, yeah. He had the big year 2 years ago in terms
That's
of home
right.
runs.
Yes, 39 home runs.
But he's
in
going to
2024.
play today for the A's. They're going to score a lot of runs. Yeah, I don't.
still just feel like it's a little short, no?
I have paused betting on NEA anyway, just because of that atmosphere in Sacramento. It turns from one of the more pitcher-friendly ballparks that I've called games in the early part of the year to one of the more hitter-friendly in all of baseball when it comes to the mid and late part of the summer up there in Northern California. So if you're betting on Kurtz, but especially Rooker, you're hoping that they get out to a pretty above-average start in terms of the home runs. Because it's gonna pick up, but they may start slow. So if you are gonna bet on them, keep that in mind. The two names that I have circled at 40-1, Ronald Acuna Jr. It's tough to go against him coming back fresh off of the knee injury. But Eugenio Suarez at 40-1, a guy who's hit 40+ home runs for what seems like 10 years straight. Going back to Cincinnati, that is a bandbox as short dimensions to that part of the field as you can get. Suarez in the second column at 40-1 stands out to me as somebody with some value for sure, a little bit further down the board.
I'm betting that one. I have no
have
doubt. I think you convinced, maybe not even convinced. You brought it up last week, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's makes a lot of sense." Going back to Cincinnati there. So that is one. Any farther down, Ryan? Did you find any long shots that you like?
Not really. I do think it's if we get a healthy season from Judge and Ohtani, I think they're going to be the major league leaders, or a full healthy season from Matt Olson as well, who has led the National League before. So yeah, it's more looking down the board. You're more relying on those guys to miss some time.
And I mean, Field at 3-1, Field in general. I don't like for this one. I actually like Field for the strikeout leader a lot more because it's been consistent the last couple of years. Judge Ohtani are in their own realm. It is. You want to talk about consistency? It doesn't get more consistent. But Schwarber, Alonso. I'm just looking at the list. Olson, Vladdy, Eugenio Suarez, Acuna, even Yordan Alvarez. Those are all guys that I think have a legitimate chance to lead Major League Baseball in home runs if there's some injuries, some guys stay healthy. The guys I'm saying to stay away from are the A's, and I'm also telling you to stay away from Caminero. But the one that I'm also thinking about is Cal Raleigh. I think 12-1 is decent enough value, but you got to remember he's a catcher. And last year, the injuries there was no death by 1,000 cuts. There were no minor ticky-tacky, knick-knack injuries that kind of hampered him. He stayed healthy for a whole year. He plays just about every day when he's healthy as well. So you got to keep that in mind.
Right.
That eventually is going to come back to bite him by attrition. So while I love Cal Raleigh, and I think that was really one of the coolest stories over the last couple of years, especially for a Seattle team that I'm generally a fan of when they're good, I don't think Cal Raleigh is going to be among the top 5 this year.
Give me your opinion on this, because a couple guys that I did circle, it's ironic because they're on the same team. So how does that play out here? Because I'm looking at, we talked about Pete Alonso, and then I'm looking at Gunnar Henderson down the board at 100-1.
Yeah.
Who 2 years ago was at the top of that list. Let me see where he is exactly. 9th with 37. And then on the other side, you brought up a Royal. I think there's a couple Kansas City Royals, which actually terrifies me because we do like the Tigers. But I think looking at both of those teams to make the playoffs, if we can get plus money on one of them. What do you think about that? Like Bobby Witt Jr., 80-1.
Where's Caglione? 60-1. And like, I think if there is a guy on that's not on here, that's on the field section, I think it is going to be Vinny Pasquantino.
Yeah.
If somebody were to come out of the woodworks, I think that's just one of the first names that come into my mind. I think it's a double-edged sword, so to speak, when it comes to betting on a couple of guys or looking at a couple of guys on the same team, because A, you're assuming that team's going to be really good offensively. B, you got to consider what their lineup is going to look like as well. And that's one thing that, A, it is, man in the arena when you're at bat. It is you versus pitcher hitting home runs. But you get a lot more opportunities. You're set up for success more if you've got protection in the lineup behind you. So the other thing, too, is injuries. Yeah. I mean, if you bet on or take a look at 3 Royal, or let's just say you're Alonso and Gunnar Henderson example. Let's just say Pete Alonso, God forbid, goes down week 1 of the season. Gunnar Henderson's going to need to pick up a little bit of the power slack. So you're almost, I guess, handicapping injuries in a way, which is always a tricky proposition. But yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents on guys from the same team when it comes to this prop in particular.
Okay, I was just curious.
Because it's the exact opposite for pitching. I think you should stay away from guys on the same team when it comes to pitching.
Okay, well, let's move over to the strikeout leader here.
You were curious about how many guys they hit 30-plus last year. 33 total guys hit at least 30 home runs last year.
And that seems low. I know it's not, but it seems low.
It does, right?
By standards of 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that's infinite, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Low by nowadays standards, juice ball and all.
And I just think where we are, when you think about it, right? Like, I don't know. You'd say probably 50 guys hit over 30.
I would have assumed 50, yeah.
Right? But
20, like, for batting average, 280 is the new 300. And 30 homers is the new 20 homers. Like back in the day, if you were 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, you were an all-star. You were an invaluable player. Now you got to go. Stolen bases don't matter anymore. Now it's just 30 home runs or bust.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 50-50 if you're Ohtani.
Or Jazz Chisholm.
In theory, of course. Jazz Chisholm.
So we did have a question from Dean Hilt in the chat, and this kind of goes along with the strikeout conversation. As we have ABS in the majors this year, and we've gotten spoiled getting to see it in the minor leagues the last couple of seasons, especially at the ballpark. So, Matt, what are your thoughts first on ABS and what that'll do for the game in Major League Baseball this season?
Well, so first and foremost, let me say, and I've seen this pointed out now that ABS is getting used more often and is kind of in the common vernacular. I generally have a problem with authority figures, but this shows that umpires are damn good at their job. It's the hardest job in sports in my eyes as a Major League Baseball umpire, calling balls and strikes. Not only just the mechanics of it, calling the game. You got to control the game. You got to control dugouts. You got to control emotions. I think being an umpire, especially behind home plate, is the hardest job in sports outside of playing in the game. The other thing as well, and you know this, Ryan, and Alex as well, having worked a ton of these Aviators games, is we see the ABS a lot. We've seen it in use. We've seen it kind of get refined over the last couple of years. It's ready to go for Major League action. But the one thing that we really didn't get until last year at the minor league level, and it was paltry what we did get, was data and statistics and a lot of the metrics, so to speak, that kind of go along with it, and the ABS analytics, if you will. So we're starting to see more of those. And one of the things that I've noticed is that there are, if you lay them next to each other, trying to think of the best way to frame this. There are a lot more strikes that are challenged into balls than there are balls challenged into strikes. So like the batters have a lot better of an eye than they are being given credit for. And it's going to be the adjustment as well, because the other thing to keep in mind for those that aren't aware is the ABS, what it does is it measures each player individually, and it is a percentage of their height. It is basically knees to, chest line where a normal strike zone is. But if you crouch like this, it doesn't affect the zone. So that's always going to be the same zone. So the bigger batters have a bigger strike zone. That's always been the case, but now it is mathematically defined. So that's going to be something interesting. I say that all, especially with the lack of data at the minor league level, to say that I don't necessarily have an answer on that yet, because we don't know at the major league level how the data is going to play out when it comes to betting a prop like a major league strikeout leader. And I think for guys like Skeens, Crochet, Scooble, Sale, Strider, those big-time strikeout artists with the 100-plus mile-an-hour fastballs, ABS is not going to be the difference between them winning a strikeout title or not. It's going to be about the middling guys who, percentages and are right there on the margins in terms of making a major league roster or an arbitration, winning those cases. I think that's going to be where it starts to come into the forefront. And this market's wide open outside of the top dogs. You got Scooble, Crochet, and Skeens as the big three under 10-1. Hunter Green at 10-1 is intriguing, but I just don't think he's going to be healthy long enough. And that's the big one with this prop, especially is the health. Like I'm staying away from DeGrom with the 10-foot pole. I'm staying away from Joe Ryan with a 10-foot pole. Couple of guys that I'm staying away from as well. Logan Webb at 80-1 seems low to me. All that being said, there's a couple of guys on here that I think could surprise you. I think Jacob Mizorowski at 60-1 is a very, very intriguing prospect. But if you're betting actual money and doing like a real future and not just a prospecting, like, hey, let's throw some pizza money on a big shot, it's Scooble, Crochet, Skeens, or bust for me.
Okay, now narrow it down.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
Give me
Alex.
one of those.
I have bias to Skeens.
Yeah.
Crochet is going to be in the AL East, which is going to be the most competitive division in baseball, I think, again. And then Scooble is, I'll say he is gearing his preseason towards the regular season, which is what you should do. It came out yesterday that he's going to pitch in one opening round game in the WBC, and that's it, March 7th against England. So enjoy him while you got him for Team America, and then he's going to go back. So with that in mind, it's Scooble or Skeens. And I think if you're going to put actual money on it, it's going to be one of those two. I think Chase Burns at 25-1 is intriguing. Blake Snell at 40-1 does nothing for me. And if there's anyone that could surprise you, I think Hunter Brown at 60-1 or Jacob Mizorowski at the same odds would be the ones that I would take. Logan Webb maybe as a flyer. You want to talk about consistency. If nothing else, Logan Webb's going to give you 200 innings and 200 strikeouts. Yeah. Which you can't always say for everybody. Yeah, 207 innings, 224 strikeouts last year, which was fourth in Major League Baseball. And he's going to be in a pitcher-friendly environment again this year. So Webb actually might be my favorite of the long shots.
I really like Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the 11th most last year, 201. I think they're projecting that he won't get as many innings.
That's the thing with him, is however many innings. Here's the number I was looking for on Webb, by the way. Over the last 3 seasons, he has sub 3.5 ERA and 200 innings pitched. 3 times. No other player has done that more than once in the last 3 years.
Jeez.
So that's consistency, that's durability. I may have just convinced myself into a bet on Logan Webb on this one. All that being said, I do think this is the one where if I am going to bet a field bet, it would be this. But 3-1 is not enough for me.
No.
I just don't think so.
Not when what you just said about those top 3.
Yeah.
Worries me way too much.
And the only reason I'm not staying away from Crochet, it has nothing to do with him. It's the rest of that division that he's going to go up against often.
I agree. Ryan had an interesting one, and it's another guy that I think he led back-to-back years before the injury, Ryan?
Yeah, he had 281 strikeouts in, I believe, 2023 with Spencer Strider, which was the most strikeouts we've seen in a season. I did not actually look what year, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, we have not seen that many strikeouts in a season. So Spencer Strider, if we get a full healthy season from him, he had a full season off of his arm surgery, was hampered with hamstring injury last year, so that was the time that he missed. So if we get a full healthy season from him, he throws nothing but strikes. His fastballs are always over 100 miles an hour, so he's incredibly difficult to hit. His teammate, though, is somebody I did want to make a point of, especially bringing up the ABS conversation. Chris Sale has said that he will not challenge any pitch this season. Whether his catcher wants to be the one to challenge, that's on the catcher, but Chris Sale is refusing to challenge the pitch as a pitcher. He fully respects the game and respects umpires and what their call is. So you just keep that in mind there with Chris Sale. He won't be stealing strikeouts for himself. It'll be his catcher doing it for him.
And that, like I said, I'm glad you mentioned that. That was one of the reasons why I kind of mentioned that. And I was going to bring that up one way or another. Is you got some guys that are just flat out going to refuse to do it. And I think Sale's a guy who could factor into this market as someone that could. He's not going to win or lose a strikeout title based on ABS. I agree with his sentiment. I don't agree with his logic. It's a human game. Humans are wrong. It's okay to be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Chris Sale just got a huge extension as well. He got a 1 year added onto his deal with a $30 million team option for 28. That team option is very much lockout dependent, though.
Wow. Very much lockout dependent.
As is Major League Baseball, it turns out.
Yes.
Go figure.
All right. Well, we'll keep looking into this and kind of add some more flyers. Ryan has one more, and I feel like.
So I do like Skubal at the 4-1, and a guy that's in the field at 3-1, which again, we don't like the field at 3-1. There's not much value there. But it is Framber Valdez going to be teammates with Tariq Skubal.
How is he not listed on here?
Yeah. Dylan Dingler is one of the best, has come out as it's been a stat on Twitter that he's one of the best catchers in Major League Baseball, like kind of stealing strikes.
He's massive, too.
So I would think that favors Framber Valdez, who's leaving the Astros organization, who had one of the worst catchers in baseball at stealing strikes.
Martin Maldonado.
So, yeah, I would like Framber Valdez if you can find a price out there on that one.
Dang, so that is a really good one in the field. Well, I shut you down right away, but
I don't blame you.
Ryan just
the thing is too, and I'll end with this when it comes to this market. People are saying that with ABS, framing is not going to be a thing anymore. Pitch framing from catchers, we've all seen it. It still matters. You only get 3 unsuccessful challenges at the minor league level, 2 at the major league level. And in theory, you get unlimited challenges. But in the first inning, you do not see challenges. The challenges are basically skewed to the mid and later part of the game. If you're a catcher, you can steal some strikes, especially in the early part of the game. You see teams still working on framing during spring training. It still matters, and that's still going to be something that is a marketable stat and a marketable skill for catchers.
Love it. Great information, as always. You too. We'll keep an eye on these. No movement yet, right? So we still have some time because we've got, a month before baseball actually begins.
I generally say, and this is my opinion as well on fantasy baseball, the fantasy baseball league I've been in is the longest relationship I've ever had in my life. And it is, we do it as late as possible. That's how I bet these props if I'm going to bet them as well. Because if I'm betting Hunter Green to win the strikeout odds and, he blows out his elbow, most places will refund you. But I don't want the hassle. I'm going to wait until probably a day or two before the regular season to do these and my win total bets that I always do as well. That's when I really wait. You wait. You get the best of the numbers. Sometimes you can get a worse number. The win total market, I could do a whole show on that. That's a whole different argument. You might be better off betting some teams early, but in terms of props, player props, I'm waiting. I think you should too.
Good idea. We should start a baseball fantasy league here, Sports by the Book. We got 8 of us.
We could figure
it out. Is that good? All right. Well, we'll see. Because it helps a lot. It keeps you focused throughout the entire season, and it's a long one. But we had a lot of fun handicapping it all year long last year. So looking forward to it this year. Matt, what are you going to be doing March 19th through the 21st?
What am I doing those days?
Well, it's the most massive madness party in Vegas here at the South Point.
Sounds like I'll be here.
Exhibit hall, plenty of seating, screens, and viewing. Of course, free entry, free parking, betting windows and kiosks at all the places you need. Food and drink specials, 24-hour Starbucks, which I always get a Starbucks on Thursday before I go up there to prepare for the long day. They're long.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday, Friday, it's a full day. You got to buckle up and
they do it great here at the South Point, though.
It is the best.
It is always fun.
And the food specials are really good. And we'll be there. So put that on your calendar, March 19th through the 21st here at the South Point. All right, Ryan, you want to talk about the poll and the ticker trivia before we go to our whiteboard plays?
Sure. But before I do that, I did want to mention some futures movement odds. First in Major League Baseball, the really only movement is the Texas Rangers have dropped from 30-1 to win the World Series now to 25-1. And then we do have some big changes in the National Hockey League as that resumes play tomorrow. We'll have a little bit more of a conversation about that as well because we have a question in the chat. But the Florida Panthers have dropped from 10-1 to win the Cup now to 30-1. The Knights move from 8-1 to 10-1 to win the cup. And the San Jose Sharks go from 80-1 to win the cup to 300-1 to win the cup.
Wow.
And the only other team to drop their odds, or odds get more in your favor, wouldn't necessarily want to bet this one, is the Washington Capitals. At 25-1 is what they were. They are now 50-1. Teams that got better would be the Buffalo Sabres from 50-1 to 40-1, the Pittsburgh Penguins from 50-1 to 40-1, the Anaheim Ducks from 75 to 50, and the Minnesota Wild from 18 to 15, and the Columbus Blue Jackets 150-1 to 100-1 there to hoist the Stanley Cup. Big shout out to Sean for keeping track of those and let us know how the movement has shifted.
Ryan, you don't want to bet that at 50-1?
So,
Ovechkin did not go over there to play in the Olympics.
Yeah, he
Logan
did not.
Thompson did, but he didn't get to play much, just one game.
yeah. Well,
Tom Wilson
yeah.
lost. Maybe he'll be highly motivated here.
I hate Tom Wilson.
I
Right there
like
with
that
ya.
number. You can't tell me that the Ducks are just as good as the Capitals and they should both be 50-1.
I don't disagree with you there at all. And if we kind of see the Caps turn things together and go on a run, you won't be able to get that 50-1 price anymore. So yeah, if you are confident in that roster and what they're able to do, then that 51 price is more than what you want to jump on. However, we got used to that first half, them being a hit or miss, that offense being
Yes.
showing up one night or not being anything. So it really comes into the amount that you trust that roster and what they'll be able to do to get this second half going and in that postseason play.
Leave it to a Penguins fan to hold a grudge against Tom Wilson. We don't forget the Winter Classic. Come on.
We don't get it. We don't forget him as Knights fans either.
Yeah.
No one
See?
likes that guy.
Everyone hates that guy.
Minnesota Wild, what are they sitting at right now?
They went from 18 to 15.
I had a feeling that was going to happen. And look at what good goaltending can do.
Yeah, go figure.
And
I
they've
saw
got two.
expected goals in that gold medal game, by the way, was like 6-1.
5.
That is
one.
called standing on your head.
Yeah,
If you're Hellbuck.
definitely.
He's the new TJ Oshie, by the way, in terms of a national hero made on the ice.
Very good. We'll take that. All right. Now we have our poll result,
Yes.
our ticker trivia, and then Matt's ready. He's been ready. We'll throw it over to him for whiteboard plays of the day first.
All right, we'll go to our ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino. It was a baseball question for you. It was a spring training baseball question for you guys today. So how many ballparks are currently utilized in Major League Baseball's Grapefruit League, just the Grapefruit League, held each spring training in Florida?
Oh God, I was in the Florida State League and did a bunch of games spring training at those ballparks. I'm trying to think offhand. There's a couple that share 13.
It is 13. Presently, there are 13 ballparks for the 15 Major League Baseball teams in the Grapefruit League,
There's two that
located
share.
across Florida. The Miami Marlins and St. Louis Cardinals share a ballpark. That would be Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter. And the Houston Astros and Washington Nationals share the Cacti Park down in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach.
That's changed since I lived there and they built that. I've done a bunch of games, by the way, from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Cool little park. I got to spend a lot of time in Palm Beach
Do you know why it's called the Grapefruit League?
because there's grapefruits everywhere there. Mixon's Fruit Farm, rest in peace. It was right behind Lecom Park where the Pirates play. They've since closed it down, but yeah, the Grapefruit and the Cactus League is very fitting. You don't have to overthink it. Keep it simple, stupid. That's my motto.
There are a couple different theories on that one. So we'll go to today's poll where we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4. Which game are you taking the over or the highest score? So the number 1 team in the country, Duke, on the road at Notre Dame, the total of 140. The number 2 team in the country, Arizona, on the road at Baylor with a total of 154.5. The number 3 team, Michigan, hosting Minnesota, total of 145. And the number 4 team in the country, Iowa State, on the road at Utah. That total is 142. And our chat going with the number 2 team in the country, going with the Arizona Wildcats and the Baylor Bears over that highest total that we gave you of that 154.5. So, yeah, our chat going with over in Arizona and Baylor.
That was my vote.
Yeah, I kind of like it. And we didn't even talk about Duke and Notre Dame.
No, that's going to be a blowout.
What if Notre Dame keeps it close?
I don't think they do.
It's a big
See, we talked about it.
it's a big spread. I don't think they do. All right. Well, what do we
That
have?
counts.
What are we confident about on this Tuesday?
Oh man, I'm very confident on a couple of these. I'm semi-confident on a lot of them. I like Dayton catching 4 points at home, 12-3 at home this year. I think they're able to control the tempo a little bit against a Billikens team that likes to get out, and they've been in rough sledding it late as of the efficiency. Now I love both of the plays in the West Virginia game. Give me the Mountaineers money line against Oklahoma State, losers of their last 5. Give me the under. I love that game. Both of those teams going way under. Oklahoma State 7 of their last 9. West Virginia 10 of their last 11. Marshall laying 6.5 at home. I love their home court advantage in conference games. I like Tennessee. There you go, Dean Helt. It's lines going with you if you're on the Volunteers all the way down to 3 right now. Tennessee the most efficient defense in the SEC over the last 3 years. And then off the board, St. Francis, New Haven under 141.5. I don't think that these two teams have the 3-point efficiency that they did in the earlier matchup this year.
All right, I like it. I've got 5, and then we'll send it over to Ryan. I don't remember watching him write on a whiteboard. I think he's
sneaky.
Yeah, he's happy with his
I
2
see him going, nope, nothing,
outright winners
nothing.
Yesterday. He's skipping today. All right, I'm
Taking it to the
taking
bank.
Marquette. I know that this is not your older brother's Marquette team, who has been in the field and made some runs in recent years, but they're on the road. They're catching points against Georgetown. I really like Georgetown as a dog rather than a favorite here. So desperate team. Give me the 3.5. I think they keep it close with home revenge. North Carolina State. I'm taking the 6.5 against Virginia. A look ahead spot for Virginia. NC State is also chasing them in the standings. So give me the Wolfpack there plus 6.5. West Virginia, Oklahoma State going up. I put 143. I don't know the best number you can get, but I like the under there. So take the best number. Another under, Iowa State and Utah under 142. I do believe the Cyclones really shut down Utah here coming off a loss. And then give me USC plus 7.5 in the big LA rivalry here against UCLA. McCronen's team coming off a big upset over Illinois. I think the Trojans will be ready. Maybe a little sprinkle on the money line. So 3 dogs, 2 unders for me today.
Not as many dogs for me as I normally have. Just Dayton and West Virginia. I got 2 favorites and a couple of unders. We're all unders today.
All
or you have
unders.
the one over. You
I
like
did have one over, Old Dominion.
the Old Dominion Marshall.
That's right.
And I'm on Marshall, so we're hoping for a lot of points from the Thundering Herd at the very least.
Very good. And we did talk about San Jose, liking them a little bit at Air Force.
the Spartans.
All right, let's get some winners. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for jumping in. If you are watching live, a lot of people in there.
And Bob Custer, home plate umpires do run. Just watch them for a full game. They run up and down the line more than a catcher does. He was saying home plate umpires don't do anything. Say that basketball and hockey officials are up and down the whole time, but baseball umpires they rotate, they run around, and they're not just standing there with their giant little pad like they did back in the old days.
Right. They just don't do any high knees up and down the court. So
thank God.
That's why you don't notice. Yeah. All right, Ryan, anything else before we get out of here?
I think you just have to mention who our guest is tomorrow.
Our guest is my father, Kenny White, professional sports bettor. We will be talking college basketball, men's and women's, and we will be talking college baseball.
Way better than
to
today's
get you ready.
guest.
And then us 3 will all be at the ballpark this weekend.
Really ready
because
to go?
we got the Las Vegas Classic here. Some good college baseball happening in
Are
Vegas.
you emceeing?
Only Friday.
Okay, it's a mouthful. The official tournament is the Live Like Lou Las Vegas Classic.
Thank you. Let's write that down so I can start practicing now.
Wow. I'd love to lick a lemon lollipop and Lilyhammer.
Nice.
There you go. That's a Family Guy one.
All right, that's it for us. Thank you, crew. We appreciate you. Ann, Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Andrew. Thank you for cutting the show. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll be here the rest of the week, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Race Day Las Vegas is back, and then Thursday, Gone Racing. So thank you so much. Please double check. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel here, Sports by the Book. We'll see you again tomorrow for Matt Neverett, for Ryan McCormick. I'm Alex White. Thanks for watching.